Hey, it is May 9th. Important date in my personal history, which I hope to get to later in this update. But it was kind of jazz week around here. Nesh got us a couple of cool new lessons. I'm not sure when this one went up. I might have not mentioned it last week. The Water is Wide, a beautiful traditional tune as done by Eva Cassidy. And then a song way off my radar, Do That To Me One More Time, the Captain and Tennille. They were, when they were around, they were a little poppy for me, but they definitely had some catchy tunes. And then my good friend Jim Bruno and camp instructor IGC, part of our staff there, he and I have been talking about doing all kinds of him doing more projects. We had a site for him many years ago called Totally Vocals that is now absorbed. It's still part of the Totally Guitars world, and if you're a platinum member, you have access to that stuff. But he reminded me a couple of years ago that he's a jazz guitar player too, and so we had him do some jazz stuff at camp this year, and he put together a lesson on Misty. He did it in E flat, right? Anyway, so I hope you get a chance to check that out. It's more, he does it on electric guitar, but it's how he would accompany himself singing, and that partly inspired me to put together. I've been working on this for a few weeks, and I kept getting sidetracked with camp and a few other things, to put together a lesson about four-string chord voicings, which is a lot of what I just did right there. When I was messing around there at the beginning of this lesson, I was playing just four-note chords and just grabbing them. And some of them had the root on the sixth string, which is sort of out of the E family, and some of them had the root on the fifth string, basically out of the A family. And we talk about, or in the little primer or treatise that I put together on this, we talk about starting with a major 7 chord and changing one note at a time to make it dominant 7, minor 7 flat 5, and diminished 7, and doing that in different families. Where am I? Oh, and even in the D family. So, if you want to get a little bit of a handle on some jazz voicings of chords, be sure to check out that lesson. Other kind of bizarre news around here right after camp. So I tried I'm sure a lot of you have had fingernail issues and have come up with different solutions. And a couple days after camp, my thumbnail just developed a crack, starting from the finger side of it, heading towards the side of it that I play with. And in the past, I've sometimes just given up and cut it off and lived with a thumb pick and play. That got me a couple of weeks ago. No, last time this happened many months ago. Got me playing some. That's when I was working on a couple of John Renbourn tunes that had gotten a little bit rusty. But tried something different this time, because at first I was thinking, maybe I could just glue a piece of nail over it, or a piece of ping pong ball like John Renbourn used to use. And then I thought, no, you know what? I bet there are nail repair kits. And so I did pick up a wrap kit that has silk and fiberglass nails. And right now, it has lasted almost 2 weeks with a piece of fiberglass, basically a fiberglass wrap over the top of it. I shouldn't say this because it'll probably break now tonight, and then all will be lost. But so far, it's been so good for almost 2 weeks. This happened on Monday, the Monday after camp. So whatever day that was, it was 2 weeks ago. So if anybody else has, I know some of my other students have gone to acrylic nails and getting them done every couple of weeks, but I don't think I quite have the organization to do that, to find a nail person and have them work on it. So anyway, what I did want to, I had a student this week asking about who plays a lot of instrumental stuff, Embryonic Journey and a lot of the bluesier tunes, Blind Blake stuff and things like that. And he was talking about trying a more delicate song, like a more, peaceful, quiet instrumental. And it made me think of like the arrangement that Tommy Emmanuel put together that I did a lesson on of And So It Goes, James Taylor's Jerusalem, that really requires a lot of touch, let's say. And a song popped into my head that I thought, I don't think I've ever shown anybody this song, and I don't think I have a lesson on it at TG, and hardly anybody at TG would know it, but they might know the story. And so as I was thinking about resurrecting that, I thought, I better take a quick look at the music. I hope I have this written out someplace, because it is on the first album I did of original pieces, which is called On the Horizon. And what else was I going to say about it? It's a really delicate little melody, and it comes from, unfortunately, a very tragic time in our lives when my father-in-law passed away. And this was on May 5th, 1999. And it was also the first night I did a concert with John Renbourn, so some of you might know that story. I'll save the trials and tribulations of it. But so did two nights with John Renbourn, then May 5th and May 6th of 1999. And over the weekend, we had the family was just kind of hanging around together, trying to get ready for the way life was going to be different. And I just happened to pick up a guitar that was sitting there. Nylon string guitar that was my father-in-law's, and I'd gotten it for him a few years before, and he played a lot, played and sang with the kids when my kids were little. They were all, the oldest I think at that time was like 11, right, something like that, and so it just kind of was sitting around the house all day with this guitar in my hand, and it started playing a song. I have no idea where it came from. as I was hearing that, as it seemed like it was coming out of the guitar, I was thinking, boy, this sounds familiar. And I even called up a couple friends of mine, one in Hawaii, and said, hey, does this sound like anything that you've heard? And he did mention a song that it had occurred to me had some of the same chords in it, but it wasn't close enough. And so my friend Hal, who unfortunately has passed away now too, was my little checker, I guess, in what's in the tune. So this was Papa's Guitar. That song was called Papa's Guitar. And and when I found the music to it just a few minutes ago, because I was just thinking, God, I hope I have this written down someplace, and I was pretty sure I did. And I dialed it up and said, oh, good, I do have it written out in notation. And it was May 9th, 1999. So it was 26 years ago today that Papa's Guitar appeared on Papa's Guitar. And now that I'm the Papa in the family. Okay, a little too sentimental for getting too teary for this. I hope everybody has a great weekend. It is Mother's Day weekend, of course, coming up, or weekend, like it just the day after tomorrow, I think. And if that's a good time in your life, I hope. What else? Should I play something else? Nah, I think I'm gonna call it a wrap on that. I may be traveling next week, so I'm not sure what's going to happen yet, but I hope everybody has a good weekend and enjoys playing some of the jazzy tunes that we have just talked about.